everybody, it's Steve. It's called Still Working It Out, Life on the Road. That's my channel. Still working it out because I'm fucking old as shit and I still haven't decided what I'm going to be when I grow up. But right now I'm in a trucking school. I've got a master's degree in business administration. I'm a pretty good fisherman. I don't know. I used to run a strip bar, so I've seen a lot of naked girls. I don't know what that qualifies me for, but I was respectful. I was a respectful guy about that, you know. Not one of the typical, and this is not against any of my brothers in the entertainment business. Sorry guys if I'm outing you a little bit, but not all of us are some of the guys I worked with or had learned from or whatever, they weren't as, you know, there was no HR, let's put it that way, there was no HR people. HR people would have had a fucking bad time there, you know? I'm just saying. There's no I mean, really, at least at that time, there might be HR people there now. I don't know, but I have a hard time picturing it. But they could have survived no problem at my company with me because it was none of that. Just saying, all that stuff, legit. Anyway, I'm driving back from school. Just got done. Was driving a big rig, backing a big rig, did a bunch of 90s. Then I was pretty much forced to drive around a neighborhood. Didn't really care about that, but I had to do it anyway. It's one of the things you have to do when you're in trucking driving school. I did fine though. Everybody's alive still. I always recommend to people, if you're in Baton Rouge, try not to, when you're on the sidewalks, try to pay attention. You know, because that's where trucking students drive. Trucking students drive on the sidewalks quite a bit. Not really, that's not, in my mind, that's where they're at. Otherwise, nope. Perfectly safe. It might be air quotes, might be it's a rabbit because Easter's coming up. It's the end of March. I don't know. It's the beginning of April, I think. Yeah. I don't know. It's right there somewhere. March, April, the borderline. Don't call ice. Not that border. All right, I'm the right complexion. I don't have to worry about that. Fucking racist. Sorry, Tourette's. Not really, but you know, it's a good excuse if I had, you know. Traffic in Baton Rouge, by the way, is fucking nuts. I've driven all over the country one time or another. I'm kind of from gypsy people. And Baton Rouge is just about the worst traffic. I mean, I've driven in LA. Not as bad as Baton Rouge. Hey, everybody in LA, you think your traffic is that bad? Come to Baton Rouge. Give it a shot. No. I used to think the worst places I ever drove was New Orleans and Boston. Baton Rouge is actually even worse than New Orleans. So, believe it or not. So I've been doing a series called How to Start a Business because I've started several. After I started most of my businesses, then I got a business education. Okay, we're just talking about people driving in Baton Rouge, fucking crazy. Somebody was just trying to kill me. It's like I owe some people money or something. They're just like trying to run me over. Like I spit on their parents' grave or something.
Turn left at the traffic light.
Something like that. Anyway, so my series that I'm working on, I've done like 3 or 4 videos so far. I'll have to look at my notes. But I've kind of gone through the initial documentation, one of the first things that you're supposed to do, though, too, is first off decide what kind of business you're going to be in, because what's needed right then. You don't want to be in just any old business just because that you like it or just because that's what you're good at and stuff. You really got to decide what's needed at the time, because no matter how good you are at a business, if it's not needed at the time, if there's like too many people doing the same thing in your area, you'll not get enough work and you'll be unsuccessful. So just because you like to sell Kool-Aid doesn't mean people want to buy Kool-Aid, you know?
Turn right on South Sherwood Forest Boulevard.
So you choose what kind of business to be in based on what your area, and we call what your market is in, it needs at the time, right? Then you choose the name of your business. The name of your business has to be unique, but it also is a piece of your advertising. So you don't want to name it something stupid and have it where people have to try to remember how it's spelled, or they've got to remember what you actually even do, or what's the name of your company? What is it that you do? There's like 5 or 10 different things they could think of. Who knows what you do? It's your last name. That's it. No, you got it. What I always name my businesses is what I do. So like I had a business where it was quality home repair. No joke. That was the name of the business, and I got tons and tons of calls because everybody knew how to spell every one of those words, and they knew what I was doing when my business was named that. One of my businesses currently that I own is called Sunshine Home Cleaners LLC. Now that was very close to what another business was already named in that state, but they were not running anymore, even though they legally owned that business name. I changed the name slightly because I was still active, and it was only a matter of time before their business name went just out of the records completely. They were no longer actively advertising and everything, but I still had to have a unique name, so I slightly changed my name to be something different so that I could market myself and not have it be confusing. So choosing your name is really, really important. Choosing your business your formation, like LLC, corporation, single proprietor, that kind of stuff. That's also important, but it's not nearly as confusing or hard to figure out how to do it. I've done sole proprietorship before. That's a mistake, and I've considered incorporating myself before. And unless you got a lot of financial backing in the very beginning, there's no reason to be a corporation. Okay, the smartest thing to do is LLC, limited liability company. It protects yourself against liability of the company, and it protects the company against your personal liability. So it's a multiple level protection for your personal life and for the business, no matter who's in trouble for whatever. Anybody can sue anybody for anything, and it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. It really depends on who's got the best lawyer. So the idea is, you want to protect your home life and you want to protect your company from liability. So that's why you choose LLC. And then, the big picture view of how to own and run a business is really simple. It's the golden rule. Treat everybody else the way you want to be treated. Treat everybody else the way you'd want your mom treated by strangers. Treat everybody else the way you'd want your grandmother to be treated by strangers. And Warren Buffett is one of my heroes business-wise, and he said it the best. Figure every single day when you wake up, try to imagine all the ways and new ways to delight, and that's a quote, how to delight your customers. All the ways you could delight them, not just make them happy, not just surprise them.
Turn right at the traffic
Because there's good surprises and bad surprises. But all the ways you can delight your customers, okay? There's a lot of ways to treat your customers right. There's a lot of ways to treat your customers with fairness, okay? Figure out a way to make them extra happy that day, ways that won't sink you. But Tylenol is obviously a very big, very successful company now. But years and years and years ago, there was a horrible, horrible accident that was one of their employees turned out to be a crazy person. That was me going up on the sidewalk, shirt off. But an employee of theirs spiked a whole bunch of their product with poison, and it killed tons and tons and tons of people. I mean, it was like at a factory. And the company could have chosen things that would save themselves short-term money, but instead they did the right thing. You know, the business thing was the right thing. And the good business thing in this case was the right thing, and they pulled all their products off the shelves everywhere that could even possibly be tainted. And they threw all that shit away so it could not possibly be reused. People were so impressed by their desire to do the right thing that it permanently solidified their reputation in the market of a medication being taken by the general public that they're producing, that from then on they've not had to spend near as much money on marketing as almost any other company does the same thing as they did. That one single act later saved them millions and millions and millions of dollars in marketing costs. Even though it cost them millions of dollars at the time, it made them back a lot more money just by that simple act of doing the right thing. Sometimes figuring out ways that you can delight your customers is straight the smartest business move you could ever make. And not just that, it's the right thing to do. Make your business that you're doing always be doing the right thing to do. You know, it makes a difference. You know, it helps you sleep at night, and you know, you're leaving a legacy. You know. Okay, that was it for today. I might make a video a little bit later, but now I'm home. Okay, you guys have a great day. I love you guys all, and don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on your business.